Friends, welcome back to my channel, and today we're gonna be doing another 24-hour readathon. I know I do one of these a month. I didn't do one, I think, the past two because I've been so busy, and that's still the case. So I just decided this one is gonna be just like over a couple days. I think it's gonna be probably about 4 days, I think, hopefully. And we're just gonna be reading as much as we can every single day and trying to get it done within a 4-day time span. I think next month I do have time to do like a true one where I can do it like straight through, or like 12 hours and 12 hours. But that's not the case this month. I'm very busy, so this is what we can get. Saturday morning, and Saturdays are always my like no guilt sleep-in days because I normally get like 5 to 6 hours with the week and I need to recover. So I just slept in really good. It's like, I think like I woke up at 7, but then I kept going in and out till about like 10:30. So on to the books we're doing. So my thing is, my TBR for this month is 8 books long, and I would love to get through probably about 6 of them in this, 5 to 6, because I'm looking back on my 2024 reading goals. I have a whole video on this I'm actually coming out with, where I'm kind of going over my 2024 reading goals and seeing where I'm at with them. And I'm realizing a big goal of mine is to do rereads this year, and I haven't done a single one. So I'm hoping that if I read most of my TBR for the month in this video, and like this is like one of the first weekends of the month, I think it's like it's July 7th today, I think, I'll be able to commit to doing a reread because I feel like I'm ahead and I have enough time. But it's 4 books of my TBR that I for sure want to read in this video. I have right here. What's funny is they're all kind of like a greeny vibe, I realize, which is kind of cool. I chose these two specifically because they are on Kindle Unlimited, and I want to be able to have some books I can read on my e-reader. So it's the Ruinous Love trilogy. It's Love, There and Lark. This is the sequel to Butcher and Blackbird. I have Thrive. This is book 6, I believe, in the Addicted series. I'm excited to get to this one, and it says 2 years will change them forever. So I'm not sure if it's 2 years in the future, 2 years, like this is over a whole 2-year time span. I'm not sure what it is, but I'm very excited. And it sounds like this is another Lillian Lowe book, so we're back to them now. And then I also chose the next Magnolia Parks book simply because I just really want to read it. I have to get to it. And I find this like going to read during a readathon because they go really fast. They're really fast paced. And these ones, looks like it's like just shy of 600 pages though. So be a good one. The last book I really want to get to in this readathon was I wanted an audiobook. I have like 1 Audible credit, and so I said I'll get one of these as an audiobook and then pretty much read that exclusively as that format, and just pick that up when I need a book to read in my ears when I can't look at a page. So I decided to do None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell because I've heard nothing but good things about this audiobook. Apparently it was really well done. A lot of people have enjoyed reading it that way, so I think I will just use this as my Audible credit and then just use this book just as my audiobook palette cleanser while I'm reading, and then maybe even get another audiobook afterwards if I need one, but I think it should be good. Other books on my July TBR are Vengeful, Firefly Lane, The Wolf Den, and Mother of Death and Dawn. I think if I pick up another one, it'd probably be The Wolf Den or Mother of Death and Dawn, because that's another KU one, but Mother of Death and Dawn is like a 700-page, I'm pretty sure, like chonker. It's like a textbook, it's thick. So I'd be like, if I'm really ahead and I feel like I can get that finished, I might do that to get that out of the way as well this month, and I'll have to like have a huge thickie left there. But that's what we're working with. Like I said, it's already at the time of filming this, it's past 11, and I have lunch plans, and then my boyfriend has a football game a little bit out of town, so I'm gonna be going to that. I'm gonna be audiobook where we're dropping though, that's good. And then tomorrow I work just at night, and then obviously Monday and Tuesday I work in the mornings, but I have the nights off. So we'll see how much reading I can get done. I'm hoping I can get at least 6 hours a day, because that like paces it well. 6 hours a day, that would be enough, but I'm hoping today and tomorrow kind of carry a little bit, even though I have lots of plans and I'm pretty busy, because obviously I'd like to not go into like full work days wanting to read 6 hours, you know? I'm not sure I want to start with, to be honest. I think I'm gonna start reading my e-reader. I don't want to hold a physical book yet, so I think I'm gonna go with Thrive. I think I chose this isn't on Kindle Limited. I chose it right now, it's not on KU. As I say, I'm so stressed for time, I've stopped wasting time. So we're gonna start off with Thrive, and we're going to get the timer going in just a minute. 3, 2, 1, go. She's gone. Oh, and I've messaged apparently. Cool. Oh boy, weekly screen time. I don't want to see that. Never mind. This was not the check-in I was hoping to give to start this 24-hour readathon, but it is 12:10 on Saturday, past midnight by the way, just to clarify, and I haven't read for 2 hours yet. Let me explain myself. Pretty much what has happened is like my lunch plans, I thought I'm only gonna take like an hour and a half, 2 hours max. They ended up taking almost 3 because we like changed locations. We were going to a bunch of different stuff. So those went longer. And then my boyfriend's game, I pretty much was like gonna read beforehand and then just like talk to my in-laws. And then he played football and then we ended up going out afterwards, after the game. He was a real trooper and he listened to my audiobook with me on the entire way home so I can get at least half an hour more in. But yeah, we're looking at 22 hours and 19 minutes left. So I'm hoping I can stay up for at least another hour or two. I'm pretty still like wired, to be honest. So I think I can stay up for like at least a little bit and get close to 4 hours done today. I don't know. I'm really hoping tomorrow pulls through because tomorrow I still work at night, but I don't work till 5:15. And then normally the only thing we do on Sundays is groceries. So maybe we can get groceries out of the way, do that, and maybe hopefully get like at least 8 hours reading done tomorrow, if not more. It'd be great. If not, my mornings and lunch breaks are really gonna have to pull through on Monday and Tuesday. It's not the best start, but the books I'm reading I'm loving. I started off Thrive. I think I'm like 120-ish pages into that, the 6th book in the Addicted series, and pretty much it's kind of like, I'm not sure I feel about it quite yet because this book is the events of the last 2 Calloway sisters books all over again, just in Lily and Lo's POV. And I didn't realize that when I first started reading it, and I was reading it, I was like, what is happening? And I was like, oh, it's like they started mentioning things, like, oh, wait a second. And I went back and read the notes from the author because I should have done beforehand. And I was like, oh yeah, this is the events of those ones in these point of views. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. But so it's a little bit like repetitive because like I already know everything that's happened. I know what's gonna come of it, but it's kind of interesting to see Lily and Lo's POV instead of obviously Rake and Daisy and Rose and Connor's. So that's interesting. And then the audiobook I just started was None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. And that was going pretty good. I do love the narration of it. I think like all of like the kind of like cinematics they have regarding the podcast and all that stuff is really interesting too and adds to it. I also love the British accents. That's what my boyfriend kept commenting on, is that they're British. But yeah, I'm enjoying that one as well. It only kind of just started, so I don't have too many thoughts on it quite yet. I think I'm like an hour into the 10-hour audiobook, so not very far. But I'm gonna see if I can get some more reading done. I'm not overtly hopeful, but I'm hoping we at least an hour, hopefully 2. We'll see, but I was hoping to be a lot further than this today, so it is what it is. It is what it is. Hi friends, I'm so sorry my fan is going right now, but it is not going to turn off because it is so hot. In true angel fashion, I didn't stop my timer. You guys already knew this was gonna happen. I didn't stop my timer until I woke up at like, oh, I just canceled it anyways. I think it was like 4 o'clock in the morning. I woke up and I realized it was still going. Not great. In pure honesty, I did not get to my 4 hours I wanted to get at. I believe when I updated you guys, I was at like 22 hours and 19 minutes. And then I read for like just over an hour. The last time I looked at the clock was 21 hours and 15 minutes. So I didn't read for 3 hours yesterday. That's rough. But I think I just need you guys to trust me and know that's what I did. 21 hours, we're gonna do 15 minutes. And we're going to restart the clock. I'm going to promise I will stop it tonight, but will I really? I don't know, but I'm going to say I will because it's actually work nights. I feel like we'll be going to bed at a decent time, so I'm not going to be trying to like stay up really late reading in bed, so I feel like I will stop it tonight. It's already 9:38 and I haven't read yet because I was just filming a video. I'm actually going to be editing it really quickly and getting it posted, so I might not be reading for the like hour or so. But I'm really hoping up until work I can read for the most of it besides getting groceries, and then after work, if I don't get up too late, I can read for at least 2 more hours, if not a little bit more. So I guess the new goal for today would be get like under 14 hours. That'd be lovely. I don't know if that's possible, but I made it to, what is it, page... My Kindle's waking up, give her a second. I made it to page 236 yesterday of Thrive, which is 51%. Feels so really good, and like I said, I'm still the same, like about the same as my audiobook, that like hour in or so. So I think we'll read more of Thrive today, definitely finish this off, and then maybe listen to a little bit more of my audiobook, and hopefully finish off another book as well. That'd be great. All right, friends, we have 19 hours and 15 minutes left, and I just finished my first book, but technically I have also been listening to like an hour of that one audiobook, so I read a little bit more. And also this book was like 400, almost 500 pages. It was 475 pages. So I think I did really good still. I think I'm gonna save all my thoughts to the end, just like keep reading and keep going. So I finished this one, and then I think I'm gonna read, where is she? Magnolia Parks for a little bit. And then obviously on my drive to and from work and when I'm closing, I might be listening to None of This Is True and doing that. I don't know, that one just got me really into like a romance kind of mood. Like I was like, oh, it's fast and easy to get through. So I'm gonna read this next as well. This one will also take a little bit to get through though, because this is an almost 600 page romance book. And it's really romance because it's toxic, but we'll see. Normally I read about 6 books in a readathon, but because I'm picking longer ones, I think it might only be 5 this time potentially. And then also because once I finish these 4 books I've chosen, no matter what, even like every other book on my TBR for this month, I think is like 450 plus pages to 500. Probably read 5 books. Maybe start a 6th one during the time, but we'll see. But it is 2:56 right now. I have to go to work in like an hour and 45 minutes. I'm hoping I can read for almost that entire time. And then between my drive there and back and reading at night, I know I can definitely get below 16 hours. I would love always to get lower than that because that's still 8 hours a day on days I work full time. So I might be staying up a little bit later today with my audiobook and just trying to like power through some late at night. But it's looking a little rough, guys. It's looking a little rough. But let's stop talking, wasting time, and let's just dive into this, guys. So let's go. Okay, let's jump on my hair. We're pausing at 17 hours and 36 minutes. I just got to work. I got to page like 130 of Magnolia Park's Long Way Home, I think. And listened to more of my audiobook of None of This Is True. I think we're listening to like 25 minutes on my way here. So we're only at 17.5 hours. So hopefully I can read for at least 3 more tonight. Let's hope. And in internal events, it was so slow at work tonight that I thought I was gonna be getting out at like 9:30 and probably like home by 10. And I actually got out like at 8:20. I already got home. I made myself a little dinner, and it's only 9 o'clock right now. So we're doing really good. You guys can't really probably see it's really small, but the timer is at 17 hours and 7 minutes, and it's only 9 o'clock. So I am very hopeful that if I really commit, I can get at least under 14 hours today, like the slightest bit probably. I will probably rely mostly on audiobooks, not gonna lie. I'm probably gonna try to get further in Magnolia Parks and then mostly just my audiobook. I just save a little bit of the audiobook for my drives tomorrow and Tuesday. Because even if we hit 14 hours, that's still 7 hours both days that I work. So even if you do like an hour on my lunch break, an hour before, and half-hour driving, that's still like 4.5 hours of reading in the evenings both days. So maybe I can save a little bit later tonight, like till 1, that'd be great, and get to like 13 hours, help out a little bit, I guess. We're gonna see, because this is starting pretty slow, but I am confident. I probably won't finish one of them tonight, especially if I'm going back and forth between Magnolia Parks and None of This Is True. I probably won't finish it tonight, to be honest, like either one. So I'll probably try to get like at least halfway Magnolia Parks, like 200 more pages, and then just listen to more audiobook. That's my plan. Because I would try to stay up late, but I don't want to screw myself for work tomorrow and be tired. I don't want that. So hopefully like midnight, 1 o'clock, the absolute latest, going to sleep. Okay? Okay. I apologize to my fan once again, but update, we're at 15.5 hours now, and I'm like nearing halfway Magnolia Parks, and I realized I haven't really shared any actual thoughts on this, and none of this is true, so we're gonna do that quick. It's also like 10:30 exactly, so I feel like I need a little bit of a mental break. This one's like hard because I was liking Magnolia more than BJ up to this point, but in the beginning of this book you kind of find out something about BJ that kind of like doesn't explain why he is the way he is, but like gives some context to, you know, issues he could have. And then from there, like, you see like maybe like he's trying to potentially be better, but then Magnolia, I'd say the past like 50 or so pages has making me slightly mad, because I get why she's doing what she's doing, but at the same time, when their toxicity starts affecting other people, that's when I'm not cool with it, you know. That's when I'm like, do you want to be toxic about yourself, go right ahead, but don't worry about the people who don't want to be a part of it, you know. There's no need for that. Still very much the same like torn feelings I had, but I do definitely care for these characters and I'm like invested in their story, but don't know how to feel about it exactly. And then This Is True is pretty interesting. It's about Alex and Josie, these 2 girls, and Alex runs this podcast and like pretty successful, and she's meeting Josie, and Josie's like her birthday twin who was born at the same hospital as her the same day, and it's kind of one of those like cool situations. And they end up doing like kind of a segment, but it's about Josie's life, and it's really good stuff. Like I said, I think I'm only about like like maybe 20% max the way through. I think probably closer to 15. There's a lot else to go. I have no idea which direction the story could be going in, so like I'm really intrigued by it. But I think I'm gonna read maybe this for another hour or so, and then switch to the audiobook for the rest of the night, and just hopefully get at least another hour after that done, so that I'm below 14 hours. This is getting tight, guys, getting tight. Friends, it's Monday morning, and at this point I'm so embarrassed. You already know what happened. One day, okay, tonight I'm pausing the timer. Do you hear me? I'm pausing it. But so, I'm gonna reset this again. Last time I showed it to you guys, we were at 13 hours and 55 minutes. And I know I listened to, I think, like 2 chapters of my audiobook before falling asleep for the night. And so when I looked at the length of those chapters in the audiobook, I would have read about 20 minutes or so. I'm just resetting it to 13 hours and 35 minutes. Pause it there so you guys can see. Also, I think I'm to read my audiobook this morning. If I start reading it right now, I can get an hour done going to work between like me getting ready and me driving there, because I start at 8:30 and it's like 7:25 right now. Alright friends, little post-work update. It is now Monday after work. I have, let's see, 11 hours and 10 minutes left, which isn't too bad. It's not too bad. It's 5:30 now. So I came home and I was like on the phone for a little bit. But the thing is, because I listened to my audiobook this morning for the hour and a bit, as well as I listened to it in the hour of my lunch break and the 15 minutes coming home, I now only have like an hour and 5 minutes left of my audiobook to listen to. So I'm just reading another one because I want to do the same thing tomorrow. Probably mostly audiobook while I'm getting ready in the morning and on my lunch. So I need to get a second audiobook to help aid this mission I'm on. Currently, like I said, it's 5:30. I'm not making dinner until about 7, and so I realized I'm a lot closer to finishing this than I thought I was, to be honest. Like I thought I had a lot longer for Magnolia Parks, but I only have like 160 pages left, so I'll probably read that in like an hour and a bit, to be honest, like hour and a half probably. And that's good because I really just like don't read a physical book right now. I don't know what it is. I think it's because I've been listening to an audiobook all day. I don't want to like pick up a physical book. So I'm hoping I can finish this in like an hour and a half or so. And then probably while I'm making dinner, I'll listen to the audiobook again while I'm making it. And then hopefully switch to an ebook. But I realized because I messed up and Leather and Lark isn't on Kindle Unlimited, I might pick up Mid-readathon Dawn, which is the 3rd book in the War of Lost Hearts trilogy. And that's one of the books that's on my July TBR. And it's also a thickie. So if I get out of the way during this thing, that might be kind of good actually. I've also heard the audiobook of Leather and Lark is really good. So I can always pick that up as an audiobook. But the only thing is, I know there was like this huge thing going on with the male narrator of the 1st book. If it's the same one, I might not buy it and support it. But I'm gonna look into it and get you guys some updates on that. But for now, definitely just finishing this. And yeah, and just relax after work because that was a day. That was a day. Friends, I finished this book about 15 minutes ago, cried, and then stared at my wall for about 15 minutes. Paused for 9 hours and 42 minutes, by the way. And normally I said I wasn't gonna give ratings for books during this, but I'm gonna give this because it's gonna help you guys know where I'm at currently. It's a 5-star. And it's like, I'm not okay. I say that because the same thing happened as the 1st book, where like I'd say the first half of the 1st book I was like, oh, it's kind of like annoying, you know, it's like back and forth, but then towards like the ending I didn't realize how much I cared about them, if that makes sense. This book, kind of saying those last like 100 pages, I was like goosebumps sucked in. It was ridiculous. And then that ending was so foul. So foul. I literally just sat there and I was like, I felt nothing. Couldn't move for like 10 minutes. It's fine. But so now the problem I'm facing is that any book I pick up, I won't be in it. I'm still here. And now the problem is, I'm like, do I just pick up the next Stacey Hates book then? But like, it wasn't on my July TBR. It wasn't planned for this video, but also this is my world and I'm living in it, you know? And so if I want to read that, I can. But I don't want to binge the series that fast. That makes sense, you know? Like, I think I need like at least a day break from this before I dive into that, because if you guys don't know, what happens to these books, and then pretty much Daisy Hates the next book, is this story told pretty much all over again from like, those characters' point of view, like Daisy, Julian, Christian, all of them, and I'm not ready to relive this all over again from a different point of view. I can't do it right now. So that's enough of that. On that note, I'm not picking up Mid-readathon next because I don't think I have the mental capacity to do so. I can't. I'm gonna start cooking dinner and I'm just gonna listen to my audiobook while I'm doing it because I'm hoping my audiobook will get me kind of out of there, because the audiobook I'm reading, it's a thriller, there's like an hour left and it's like really ramping up. You're kind of like discovering everything and figuring it all out. So I'm hoping that will be a good distraction from the heartbreak of this, and then I can move into another book. On that note, I do think I'm gonna go into Leather and Lark just because I feel like I need something not super duper heavy, if that makes sense. The first book was kind of almost like a serial unaliver rom-com, and this is another book that I feel like any book I read right now, I feel like isn't going to get, I don't say the attention or rating it deserves, but you don't read a 5-star reading the next book afterwards, just it's going to be judged unfairly because what you just read. And this is a book already that I've kind of been told let a lot of people down, so if this one gets judged a little bit unfairly, that's okay. I can live with this one being a little bit of a letdown after that, but like Mother and Death and Dawn, I think it's gonna be like a really highly rated book, so I want to read that after reading that and comparing it to that and trying to use the mental brain power to understand that. That made no sense. As you know, I've been reading for a long time, I'm getting delirious. But I have 9 hours and 40 minutes left. It's 7:10 at night. I'm hoping I can just power through this. I am going to read the audiobook like I said next and keep going with this. I'll probably be like 45 minutes to cook dinner, so I'm gonna I'll probably finish the audiobook, so only an hour and 6 minutes left. Probably finish the audiobook and get back to you guys, and then start this after. That hurt so bad, I'm not even gonna lie, guys, that was awful. Friends, it is a big time. I'm sorry about this lighting. It is 10:18 at night, so we're just kind of rolling with what we have. Also, I look like I was punched. I don't know why my under eyes are that dark. I think it's because of the lighting. I wasn't punched, by the way. We're okay. We just look rough. It is 10:20, which is rough, but I'm at 7 hours and 5 minutes, which means if I read till 12:30 tonight, I can get below 5 hours. But I did not think it was gonna happen because I was at 13 and a half this morning, so that means if I get to 5, if I get to under 5, that means I read like 8.5 hours on a day. I also worked 8 hours. Because that means I had an hour lunch break. That means I read for 8.5 hours in a day. I worked for 8 hours, but I had an hour lunch break in between. So it's like, yes, yeah, a whole 15-hour day. There it is. There it is. Anyways, a couple updates. I finished, and now this is true. I don't know how I feel about it. I really can't give a rating for it quite yet, to be honest, because like, while the ending was good, I kind of like finished it, and I was kind of like, I'm still trying to piece everything together and like not make it make sense, but just try to like rationalize and like understand the story. Does that make sense to anybody else? Like, I get it, but I'm also just kind of like, okay, that was kind of not like anticlimactic, but I'm like I heard it was like crazy ending, blah, blah, blah stuff, and I was like, not exactly crazy in my personal opinion, but it's cool. And then I've also gotten now, sorry, I'm gonna pause it. I've been talking for a minute, sorry. I'm about like halfway through Leather and Lark. I started that. This one I will say it's good. I'm enjoying it. It's like a marriage of convenience, which is always a lot of fun, and the same kind of vibe, serial unaliving, all that jazz. But this one's obviously for a different reason. I guess we're gonna find out why as we go through the book. I'm willing to bet my life on. It's going good so far. Let's said this one is a letdown, so I'm gonna just kind of see what happens there. As always, the content trigger warnings on these are hilarious. It goes, I might have ruined pizza and beer, also smoothies. I love smoothies, so I really hope not. Please don't. We're about here, so I definitely can finish this tonight. If I'm gonna read till like 12:30, I definitely can finish this. And I did want to get another audiobook for tomorrow, for the especially the morning, my lunch break, just to make sure I was still reading on those. I was looking, I didn't really want to buy one because they're expensive, and I was looking just like the available now section on Libby, like books I could get right away, and they had If Only I Had Told Her, I think is what it's called, the sequel to If Only He Had Been With Me. And I kept like, not like keep me into it. I'm not even really like fully interested in reading it, but because it was like available and I could read it now, I was like, you know what, sure I will. So I did download that. So I think that'll be my audiobook that I start either later tonight or in the morning. I think if I'm reading a physical book, I will start Mother of Death and Dawn, I think. But if I have 7 hours left, if I start Mother of Death and Dawn, I'm not finishing it. That's not getting finished. I feel like if I read this and then just listen to the audiobook of If Only I Told Her, that'll get me to the end. We'll see how I feel. There's definitely gonna be 1 or 2 books I don't finish in this video, and I always get worried like if I should just like still come back later with my reviews at the end, like once I have finished them, or if I should just be like, hey babe, halfway through these are my thoughts so far, and kind of like cut the video there, you know? I've always still given my thoughts, like I've always still waited till I finish the book and then give my thoughts on it, so I've always done. This is what I will do, but we're gonna have some definitely unfinished ones here, so Sorry about that. Like I said, 10:20 at night, I'm rambling. I need to get back to it. Halfway through, definitely can finish this in the next probably hour and a half to 2 hours max. So let's go. Friends, I apologize for the noise from my bathroom. My fan is currently on. It is the morning. It is 7:23. I have 4 hours and 15 minutes left, so I got below 5 hours and I stopped the timer. Like that far into Leather and Lark. I think I have like 20 minutes now. I can sit and read it where I don't really have to be getting ready quite yet. I can probably sit down and read for 15-20 minutes before switching to my audiobook. Like I said, I am enjoying this. It's like pretty fun. What I'm not enjoying is If He Had Been With Me. I think it's like the teenage angst is on steroids in this book, and it's an audiobook that's being narrated, and I just can't. Like, it's so unbelievably cringy. Like, I bet like if I was like 12 reading this, I'd be swooning, but like it literally reads like a middle grade book right now. Really hard. Like, I think if I wasn't doing 24 readathon, I'd probably DNF it. But I kind of want to see it through, especially when I get to the part that, like, obviously the end of the last book is what gutted me, and like the only reason why I even enjoyed that book slightly was because the ending was really emotional. And so I want to get to obviously that part and see like that play out. But yeah, I'm like 25% of the way through right now, and it's painful, but I've listened 5 hours. I know I can finish this. I can keep going with the audiobook. I'll probably do the same thing where I read that mostly in my, like, in the morning lunch again, so I'll probably almost get to finish it. And then I might start Vengeful by V.E. Schwab, but I won't get to finish that in this vlog, obviously, because I will only have like 2 hours left at the time of starting it, probably. But anyways, I'm gonna stop yapping and get reading so I can get my most out of my morning. It's 7:25, less than 5 hours. Let's go. It restarted. Nope. It's not in the appearance. It is so hot outside, and I was outside with preschoolers at the hair salon, so that's why my hair looks like this. What's hilarious, I was like, I just stopped the timer tonight. I don't know what happened, but I guess I hit my timer while I was driving somehow, and it reset. So I can't keep living like this. But so what I did was, last time I showed you guys the clock was when I was finishing up reading Leather and Lark this morning before I switched over to my audiobook, and then I didn't pause the timer at all till 8:30. I listened straight on through. So I did the math of where it was and what time it was and what I would be at, which is 3 hours and 52 minutes. We're gonna start it there. Last time restarting it, I'm so sorry, guys. I'm so sweaty. This is gross. I really apologize. Anyways, I'm at my mom's house for lunch. I'm gonna go read Leather and Lark, probably finish it, maybe listen to a little more of the audiobook, and we'll see. Alright, hello friends, we are back at home. We're ready to hit the final stretch of this readathon. Actually really good. So my drive home, there was like so much traffic, so it took a lot longer than normal. And then between my lunch break, I'm now at 2 hours and 35 minutes left. So I definitely just banged it out, probably like just like straight, to be honest. It is 6:15, so I got home around 5, then just spent like an hour cooking dinner and getting it all ready. I was going to start Vengeful, but then I looked at the timer. I have 2.5 hours left, and I still have, it's like 4 hours and 50 minutes of my audiobook. I normally listen to it on 2 times the speed, so that means I have like 2 hours, probably like 15 or so of it left. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just change it to like 1.75 speed and just like try to make it line up for the ending. I think I'm gonna listen for the rest of this challenge because I want to start another book and then give you guys like a synopsis of the first like half, and then come back later and be like, oh, I half finished 2 books, so just finishing 1, you know? I finished up Leather and Lark. I think like, I don't know if we were like very, very let down by this, but I think I liked it like just as much, like equal to Butcher and Blackbird, because I wasn't even like the hugest fan of Butcher and Blackbird. I think I gave that one like a 3.75, somewhere in around there, maybe a 4-star. I forget what I actually gave it. This one I'm feeling like a 3.5 to 3.75, somewhere around there. I enjoyed it. It was fun. I was happy. We're at a Finney's POV now, and If Only I Had Told Her, and we're into like the next POV, which I'm actually really enjoying. I didn't like realize we were gonna get that, so we just started that POV, and I'm liking it a lot more now than just like, I felt the first like little bit where his POV was just so cringy, and it was like so like high school. It was reading very high school. It was like so like high school cringe, which they were. They're like 18, I think. But still, now that we're out of that, I'm enjoying it more, I believe. So there's a story. When I saw in Libby, when I looked at the chapters, we have this POV and then one other POV still. So I'm gonna just sit down and read that for the rest of the night, listen to it. Yeah, for 2.5 hours. So I did like a little bit now and then finish off later in the evening. I'm not 100% sure, but let's get it. But we're gonna finish it tonight. Very proud of myself. Let's go. Alright friends, it is the next day. We're gonna readathon and we're gonna go over the books I read during this video. I'm gonna go in the order that I read them in. And so going back all the way to Thrive, this is the 6 book in the Addicted series. I'm gonna think I settled on a 4-star for this, maybe a 3.75 potentially. I did enjoy it. Like I said, it's just very repetitive because it's the events of the past 2 books just in different characters' point of view. So you already know everything that happens. There's no like surprises really. Like there's a couple like minor ones based on like what POV you're in, but you know what's gonna happen. You know the gist. I believe they did again with the next 3 books as well. Like the next ones, like Addicted After All, Fuel the Fire, and Long Way Down, I believe. I think it's the same kind of thing where they're same time frame, different POVs. I think. I could be very mistaken. And I think the last book is all their POVs together. But I will keep reading the rest. I actually have the next 2 already on my shelf, and then the other 2, spoiler, are in boxes over there. Then we'll be doing an unboxing video this week. Then we have the star of the show. I'm saying it's the star of the show. This one, and I think what it is that I did not expect this to be a 5-star at all. The first book I think I rated a 4 or 3.75. Second book I rated 4.25. This one I didn't even know it was gonna be a 5-star till the last like 100 pages. I know some people are like, oh, but you don't feel it the whole way through, it's not a 5-star. My 5 stars go on vibes and the feeling that it gives me. And if a book makes you feel the way this book made me feel, it's a 5-star. I don't care. I'm not that serious about it. It's a 5-star to me. I thought about this multiple times today since I finished it. The ending's gutted me. It's like everything in me to not grab the next Daisy Hates book and read it right now, but also I know I have to relive this same devastating story all over again. It's what else is POV, so I'm not really wanting that. But also this next book might be in that same box I was just talking about, so definitely be binging those shortly. Then I think Next in Sequence was None of This Is True by Lisa Jewell. I don't know how I feel this book. I think it's like a 3.5. I would say, like, I don't even know how to describe why I wasn't like a huge fan of this book. I think it's just because like I always thought there should have been more, or there could have been more. Like there's so many things I think she could have done with like the beginning and how much she was going about like they were connected. Like there's so much she could have done with the story that wasn't done. Like it kind of just, like I finished, I was like, oh, that's it. Like it wasn't like anything like crazy. Is that weird to say? Like because it was a crazy ending, but it wasn't like what I was expecting or what I was really wanting out of the story, if that makes sense. It felt very much kind of finished and I was like, okay. And so we're gonna say 3.25 or 3.5. Still undecided. Next week, Lither and Lark. I know people who read this have said that like compared to Butcher and Blackbird, like it was a letdown. I honestly didn't feel that way. I enjoyed it. I think I read the first book a 4 or 4.25. This is probably right around the same, like a 4, maybe 3.75 max. I think Marriage of Convenience is always just a great time, so I had a good time with this. And they announced the next book and kind of gave like some little like insights at the very end of this one. I'm really excited to that. And then lastly, I'm not gonna call it a letdown because I wasn't expecting anything amazing, but then I read If Only I Had Told Her. I think I'm giving this a 3-star max. This is a sequel to If Only He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan that came out last year. If you guys know, that ending is gut-wrenching. That's the reason why I really liked it. Like I found the entirety of the book to be pretty cringy, but the ending was like, oh, that hurt. And I wanted this book to kind of like relive that hurt. The other person's POV is what I thought, but like really only the first third of it was. And then you go to somebody else's POV who you weren't expecting, and then you go to the main character from our first book's POV. So you're kind of like seeing a little bit of everybody anyways. But I was almost grateful because that first third were in that one person's POV was so cringy. I literally was like, I need to stop listening to this. It was an audiobook too, and I think it's like what did it for me was I didn't like the voice and all that. I was like, no. But once I got past them, it was a lot better. I think it went like more uphill. But I feel like what they had happen, I was like, no. Like such like an obvious continuation that was kind of like, don't do it. But it was kind of just like the easy thing to do and write about. And I was like, oh. So I wasn't the biggest fan of it. But I think it was like, so like, it was like good. Like I had like a fine enough time with it. I just wasn't like amazed or anything along those lines, you know? Alright, those are the 5 books I read during this readathon. I thought like when I first looked at them, like normally I read like about 5 or 6. Like it's like a little bit on the lower end, but I think it was like still around like 2,000 pages altogether because there was a lot there, and I listened to 2 of them fully on audiobooks. That's what slowed me down because I normally read faster than I listen. So I only read 5, but I think I was very happy with what I got. I got a 5-star out of it, so love that. If you guys like this video, please feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I'm also on TikTok, Angel's Book Corner, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.